Donald Trump is turning to the Supreme Court as he pushes to extend the delay in his election interference trial. In a filing to the High Court, the former president argues he's immune from prosecution. He also asked the justices to pause last week's ruling from a federal appeals court, which said that the case could return to trial. CBS News campaign reporter and a lawyer, Katrina Kaufman, is here with me now. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you've been following these developments and other of the many legal cases against former President Donald Trump. What do you make of this filing, and what options does the court have at this point?
The filing was definitely expected, and I think some legal scholars feel like it's actually not really that serious a request for the Supreme Court. They start the request with a quote from a baseball player, Yogi Berra. They have a very convoluted First Amendment argument. They really just recycle arguments that were just rejected by the D.C. Court of Appeals. So it doesn't seem like that strong of an application, but the court has a number of options. They could grant the stay, and they could take up this immunity appeal on an expedited basis and hear the case, and potentially could even get this trial starting by July. They could deny it. The trial could start even sooner, maybe as soon as May. You have to remember that because the D.C. case was paused, there's about 88 days of pretrial motions and things that have to happen before the case can start again. Or if they decide to actually decide that Trump is immune from prosecution, that would totally obliterate Jack Smith's case for the D.C. election interference charges. So we'll have to see what the Supreme Court wants to do and how this will play out. Right now, the next thing is that Jack Smith has to reply to Trump's request by February 20th at 4 p.m., and it's expected he'll probably do it much sooner because he really wants to expedite these proceedings as much as possible.
Let's talk about another case. One of the most serious cases that former President Trump is facing is the one in Fulton County. The district attorney, Fani Willis, has been subpoenaed now to testify on Thursday about allegations of misconduct having to do with her personal romantic relationship with another prosecutor. What happens to the case if the judge finds there is a conflict of interest? How is that likely to impact the Trump case itself, and what happens next?
Yeah, that's a great question because this has become very complicated. Yeah. There's now basically a cloud over this Fulton County case. Yesterday, there was a hearing because Willis and Nathan Wade, the special prosecutor who these allegations about a romantic relationship are also against, are trying not to testify on Thursday. And the judge has actually said he's still going to make a decision about that at the hearing itself. He may still have them testify, but he's going to start with other testimony first from Nathan Wade's business partner. But he did say that he feels like there is a possibility of conflict there. So if he decides that Willis or Wade as well should be removed from the case, it wouldn't actually dismiss the case. This doesn't do anything to the charges themselves, but it would delay things. They would have to replace Fani Willis. They would potentially have to replace prosecutors on the team. So it would tie things up. I believe that essentially first it would be transferred to another district attorney or possibly even Georgia's attorney general.
I see. Wow. This really complicated things, but you made it simpler to understand. As always, Katrina Kaufman, thank you.
Thank you.
Great to have you here.